This is Spunky Comstock. I'm here with Wolfman Mike. We're from the 70s versus the 80s podcast, and we want to introduce you to a little album called Hotel California.
So you could hear this album absolutely everywhere when it first came out. And the only thing worse, if you weren't a huge Eagles fan, they split up and then they all took up solo careers and then they started assaulting you on different fronts.
I remember as a kid when I'd go with my dad to the auto parts store, you'd hear the Eagles. You'd go with your mom to the grocery store, you'd hear the Eagles. You go with your grandparents to the proctologist, you'd hear the Eagles.
These nice dudes at the Surely You Can't Be Serious podcast invited us on, and I think we're just wrecking it. All right, let's throw it to the guys from Surely You Can't Be Serious.
Well, everybody, welcome back to the Surely You Can't Be Serious podcast. Jason, there are, I would say, 3 American bands that defined the 70s sound.
Okay.
Number 3, I'm going to say, is Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Okay. Haven't covered them yet.
Right.
But would love to.
Florida band, Southern rock, right?
Yeah, sure.
Number 2, Aerosmith.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, and
I'll
we have covered them, but they were Boston, boys from Boston, totally different sound.
Yeah.
And then the band that we're here today, I think, is the American band that defined what the 70s sounded like, and that is the Eagles. And you know, that article, it's interesting because we've had some talk about it's not the Eagles, it's Eagles, but I just watched the documentary. Every one of those guys calls themselves the Eagles.
I know.
Every one of them. So I'm going to call them the Eagles because if they can do it, I can do it, right?
That's right. That's right. Here's my trivia question for you before we get started.
Yeah.
Give me the top 6 selling albums in the United States all time. Ready, go.
Thriller.
Thriller's number 2. Covered it.
Back in Black.
Back in Black is number 4. Covered it.
Hotel California.
Hotel California is number 3. Getting ready to cover it.
Eagles Greatest Hits.
Greatest Hits, Volume 1, number 1.
Okay, so I've got like 2 more?
5 and number 6.
Okay. This is of all time?
In the United States.
In the United States. Bodyguard soundtrack.
No, but that's a good guess.
Can I get a hint? Give me at least a decade here.
Well, both are from the 70s.
Okay.
We haven't covered either one of these yet, but we will next week.
Okay, so Rumors.
Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, number 6 all time in the United States.
Okay. And then what's the other one? I don't know.
And then the number 5 spot is Led Zeppelin 4. Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Of course, right. So, interestingly, this album comes out, they had Greatest Hits released while they were recording this album, kind of against their will.
Kind of without their knowledge.
Yeah, and, sorry, band, that we released the greatest selling album of all time.
It means an extra $100 million in your pocket.
Or whatever it might be. Yeah. And so then they record this in 76, release it late 76. This is nominated for Album of the Year, right? It had to win, right?
It did not win.
It did not win. Hotel California, which is literally a greatest hits album by itself.
By itself, 100%.
Did not win.
Did not win Album of the Year.
What won?
Rumors by Fleetwood Mac.
So, what you're saying is we've got a hefty matchup here, right?
It's going to be one for the ages.
Guys, if you don't know how we do if this is your first time to listen to us, the way that we do things is we pick 2 heavy hitters, like 2 icons, and we compare them. And we just said, hey, these guys share a relationship. I mean, you've got Don Henley and Stevie Nicks having a relationship together. These albums both came out with just like in a few months of each other, both huge, but I did not realize that it was that close. That Album of the Year, Hotel California is nominated, but loses to Rumors, which we will be covering on our next episodes. So,
yeah, and I think you overlooked one connection that's kind of under the radar. Stevie Nicks and Joe Walsh were together for 3 years, and she called him the love of her life.
Let me say this. I'm going to say this right now. Joe Walsh is an American treasure.
He is.
And the fact that we don't talk about him more is a travesty, all right? He is one of the greatest human beings I've ever had the chance to study in my life. Okay, so 1967, the guitarist for a band called the James Gang, is AWOL from the Army and decided he wants to leave his wife. So he ditches the band and goes out to California to start his own band.
Right.
And then like a little while later, they get a knock at the door, and it's this kind of crazy looking guy who's like, hey, man. You need a guitarist.
Yeah.
And they bring him in, and he's obviously phenomenal.
Right.
It's a 5-piece band again for about a week. Like they lose 2 of their members, try to replace one of them. He's gone again. And they have this show set up, and they're like, we don't have all of our people, but we really need the money. So they perform it as a 3-piece band, and they're like, hey, we're pretty dang good as a 3-piece band. And so then, of course, time goes on. They develop. They get signed. James Gang has a couple of great tunes, really off their second album, but Funk 49 is an icon. Shows what kind of guitarist Joe Walsh is. And do you know who produced those albums?
Bill Szymczyk?
That's correct.
Yes.
And so fast forward about 8 years, and Bernie Leadon is kind of pissed off about the direction that the Eagles is headed, and Glenn Frey is particularly excited about the way that the Eagles are headed.
Right.
And he's talking it up, and Bernie Leadon says, you need to cool off, buddy, and dumps a beer on his head. And that was effectively the decision that terminated him from the band.
Yeah, just hearing that disrespect, even if it was kind of meant jokingly. I mean,
Yep.
Glenn Frey, these guys are uptight. I told you, they are the least taking it easy people.
Yeah, Glenn Frey and Don Henley do not take it easy.
They do not.
They take it to the limit.
That's right.
So Bernie's out of the band, and they've been doing this joke thing for a while because Joe Walsh was opening for them, where when they got done with their first set, or maybe their first encore, as a joke, they bring out this guitar case, and Joe Walsh pops out of the guitar case like a woman out of a cake. They play a couple of James Gang songs, and they play some Eagles songs together. And when Bernie's gone, Bill Szymczyk's like, why don't you have Joe join the band? And they said, that sounds freaking phenomenal.
Just on that note, Glenn Frey is a demanding, tough, street smart, two-fisted, profit-driven, no taking it easy kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Don Henley is a perfectionist, absolute, can hear every mistake, uptight, malcontent. And then you bring in this guy.
He's what the band needed. He was the yin to their yang, man.
Oh, my gosh. Hey, I sent you the beginning of the Joe Walsh song, Meadows. Did you listen to it?
No.
Let me play this for you.
Okay. So I can't remember, was it Rocky Mountain Way or was it Life's Been Good to Me So Far that ends in this kind of weird cacophony of bizarre animal noises?
I think it's Life's Been Good, yeah.
Oh my gosh. So in that interim, in the middle of the time of James Gang's success and him joining the Eagles, he opens for a band called The Who.
Yes.
And the drummer for the band, The Who, is a guy named Keith Moon, who is known as the ultimate party rock and roll machine.
World famous crazy man.
Resulting in his own demise, right?
That's
right. Famously found in a swimming pool face down, right? Who knows exactly what happened to him.
That's right.
But, drives a Rolls Royce into is it a pool, a lake? I don't remember. Just full of crazy stuff. But while Joe is touring with The Who, Keith Moon's like, I like you. You are going to now be my protege.
We're buddies.
Yeah. And so Joe then becomes the ultimate hotel trash master, and an epic end to a story that we talked about on our Greatest Hits episode. The story was when he met Jim Belushi, they decided to go to a fancy restaurant. They wouldn't let him in because they were in blue jeans.
Right.
So they spray painted their jeans black.
Right.
Went back in and sat down on the Queen Anne needlepoint, very fine expensive chairs, got up and realized the back of their jeans were blue again, but the seats were now black on these chairs, and they backed out and ran away. But then that night they decided to see if they could set the record for the most hotel damage. And in 77 dollars, it was $28,000 of damage.
That doesn't even come close to my favorite Joe Walsh story. And this is before we've even got to the album. But he was on Jeopardy a few years ago, and he was playing against Mark McGrath from Sugar Ray, who was cleaning up.
Yeah. Okay.
And Graham Nash, who also, it's all foggy because of the 60s and 70s. Right. But the question was somehow related to who was Joe Walsh's first wife? And Joe Walsh sat there and was like thinking about it. Mark McGrath's like, out of respect, he was waiting for him to answer. He's like, well, I guess I'll answer for him. Uh-huh. And Mark McGrath got the answer correct before Joe Walsh. Oh my
That's
gosh.
great. That's great. Well, we've blathered on a bit, but the important thing to note is this is the first album to feature Joe Walsh on it. We had lost Bernie Leadon after the beer incident, and it is also the last album to feature Randy Meisner.
That's right.
And we'll get into that whole story once we get further along in the album. But I think we need to stop talking about stuff and start diving into the music.
Okay, before we do, I've got
Yes.
just a couple of tidbits overall in the album, okay?
Okay.
Third most selling album in the United States of all time, 26 times platinum. It went platinum in 1 week.
Wow.
It was released December 8th, 1976. Before the year is over, it's already platinum. The cover of this album is so iconic. It's actually, there you go, right there. That is the Beverly Hills Hotel, shot at golden hour. I just love this cover so much.
Yeah.
David Alexander's the photographer. They actually got a cherry picker, rose up over Sunset Boulevard to take this picture. And when the Beverly Hills Hotel was looking at it, they're like, hey, wait a minute, that's our hotel.
Yeah.
They tried to sue. By the way, I checked the Beverly Hills Hotel.
Yeah.
Just to see what are going rates.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, it's between $4,000 and, $2,000 a night.
Oh my gosh. So is it the same hotel that Axel Foley was trying to check into? I was going to do a piece on Michael Jackson.
That's right. But they don't let any, yeah. This album was nominated for 5 Grammys in 1978. It won 2, including Record of the Year, which was for Hotel California, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But they refused to show up unless they were guaranteed to win.
Mm-hmm. That's weird.
These guys, for as much as I respect them as artists and musicians, they are capital D douches about some things.
Take it easy, guys.
They do
Take it
not
easy.
get a peaceful, easy feeling.
Oh my gosh. So in 1976, Don Felder is fiddling around on his guitar, which he does. He was told by Bernie, childhood friends.
They played in the same high school band together.
I'll tell that story in a bit, but Bernie says, hey, just record your musical ideas, put them on tape, give them to Glenn and Don, and they will figure out what they like, right? And they'll make good words to whatever music you're putting down.
Make a musical bed for them
Right.
to lay down lyrics.
And so on one of probably a dozen songs on a tape he had given them, of probably dozens of tapes he had given them, they listened to a song that they describe as a mix between Mexican Latin music and reggae. And it strikes them.
Yeah.
And they start to write a song, and Henley is probably the main songwriter for this, about he put it in many different ways, about the disillusionment of America and thinking that you want success and then finding out that it's not as good as you thought it was. But I think he summed it up perfectly on the Howard Stern show. He said, it's about that thin line between the American dream and the American nightmare. And that song is called Hotel California.
We're talking about one of the greatest songs of all time.
It is the hub of the wheel that this album was conceived around. Okay, they did this song first, and every other song on this album is involved in the concept of this first song. And they didn't even release it as the first single. This was the second single that they released.
On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair, warm smell of colitas rising up through the air. Up ahead in the distance, I saw a shimmering light. My head grew heavy and my sight grew dim. I had to stop for the night. There she stood in the doorway.
It doesn't make any sense. I mean, it does make sense because at the time, radio would not play 6-minute songs. It had to be 3.5 minutes. And it certainly, you better be singing by the 30-second mark or else.
Yeah. You need to radio edit this. No.
No, I'm not going to.
No, it's got to be shorter. No.
I'm not doing it.
If you don't want to play it, don't play it.
Oh, by the way, there's a 2-minute and 30-second dueling guitar solo at the end.
I got to say this. There are a handful of guitar solos from the 70s that belong on the Mount Rushmore of best guitar solos of the decade. This is unquestionably in the conversation and might be number one.
Joe Walsh and Felder shredding at the end of this. And that doesn't even discuss the kind of cryptic lyrics, the kind of the mystery and the tone and Henley's voice.
The lyrics are cryptic, as you said, and that led to all kinds of weird interpretations. Glenn Frey said, we like to kind of keep the mystery of the song, you know, like put it out there and let people do with it what they want to do with it. And man, people went crazy with this one. Talks about the Church of Satan based on images in the photograph that are not actually those images at all. It's just crazy stuff.
I know when I grew up, my parents were uncomfortable a little bit with the line, you know, you can stab it with your steely knives, but you just can't kill the beast. And then sort of running for the door. It's kind of this weird ghost story, The Shining type of thing.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the hero's journey. He's gone into a place that is the underworld and he's just trying to escape.
I think it's brilliant. And I think people read into it way too much. I just think it's kind of a cool story that they were kind of pushing the limits on. Glenn Frey talked about how they wanted to create like a Twilight Zone type of thing.
I certainly got that.
Yeah. By the way, this song reached number one. It was the second single, as you said, which still seems crazy to me. This was released February 22nd, 1977. It reached number one May 7th, 1977. Stayed number one for 1 week. You want to hear the top 5 real quick?
You know that I do.
Okay. I'm going to start with number 6, Right Time of the Night by Jennifer Warnes.
Okay.
We talked about her on our Dirty Dancing soundtrack.
Yep.
Number 5, Don't Leave Me This Way by Thelma Houston. Great disco song.
Okay. Yeah.
Number 4, maybe the only Stevie Wonder song I actually like, Sir Duke.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
All right.
Number 3, Southern Nights by Glenn Campbell. And number 2, When I Need You by Leo Sayer.
Okay. Man, I was 2. No, I was 1. I wasn't even 2 yet when these things were happening. But here's an interesting thing. This album is really where the band cracks. And they get one more album out before they're done. But this is when they really crack. And what's crazy is it is, in my mind, unquestionably the best Eagles album ever.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It is. We talk about albums that are good from beginning to end. And we've talked about albums that don't have any skippers. But this is so far beyond that. I think you should put it like, it's not that there are no skippers. It's every single song is perfect. Like it is just a perfect music. Like it's not only no skippers, it's like you have to listen to every song. You can't skip anything.
So I told you that this was in my house. Like my parents listened to this music. My uncle listened to this music. And when I was a little kid, it was kind of around. And then as I grew, it kind of became rear view mirror type of thing for me.
Yeah.
I went on a ski trip with Chris Alexander, Chris Bauer, I call him Bomber, my buddy Eric Winton, and they popped in a tape of Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 1 on one side, Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 2 on the other side. And I came crashing back into the Eagles as a super fan.
I remember this song specifically was not my introduction to the Eagles because I had heard their music, but I didn't know anything about them. I couldn't have told you that any particular song was an Eagles song. I'd heard them before, but it was just like things on the radio and you just don't know, right? But I would have been 13 or 14 years old. I had recently been teaching myself how to play the guitar. I can remember being in, mom had just passed the year before. I'm hanging out with my dad. He had a TV in his bedroom. We're sitting there. I don't know why we would have been watching MTV, but literally the video, the live performance of this song comes on and I'm like, oh, I love this song. I'd seen it several times. I love this song. And my dad says, this is a great song. It was kind of like a new rediscovery like you're talking about as well. But he's like, let's see if we can figure out how to play it. And I said, I think we have this album. And I went and looked at our albums and we had Eagles Live. Never had listened to it before. I just remembered, hey, Eagles, I remembered seeing that, right? It's like a trunk. It's like a trunk with stickers on it, right? He pulls it out, he starts playing, and he's like, okay, well, I need to slow it down. And so the record players, you could slow them down, right?
Right.
And so this song starts in B minor, right? It had actually, the original song had started with Felder writing in an E minor, but Don Henley's voice wouldn't fit in that. And so they kept dropping it until it hits B minor, right? But for somebody who's not a prolific guitar player, my dad was not a prolific guitar player, it's a whole lot easier to play A minor, right?
Okay.
And so we slowed the record down a full note, right? You go from B down to A, and he plays an A minor. And I listened to my dad figure out how to play all of the chords to this song. And I'm kind of blown away and inspires me to do this later on. But that was also when we began playing music together, because once he had figured it out, he figured out how to play it on the piano and I could play it on the guitar because he had taught me how to do it. And so for the next 30 something years, every time we got together, we would play music together. That was the thing that we shared. And this song was the inspiration for that.
Wow, that's a great story.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
Okay, we have to give a shout out to our executive producers for this episode. We have 2 new Patreon members. They just signed up like yesterday.
One was yesterday.
One was yesterday. One was back in April. And DJ Padinsky joined in April.
Thanks,
hey, DJ.
DJ.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate
Appreciate
you,
you. And then the other one, all I've got is CC.
CC.
I don't know who CC is.
Hit it, CC.
We just found out about you yesterday, and so we'll find out exactly who you are once you respond to our email. But thank you guys very much. We appreciate you supporting the podcast. Listener, if you are not a Patreon member yet and you want to become one, we'll make you an executive producer. It gives you access to all of our One Hit Wonder and other novelty song episodes. So we've got dozens of those episodes.
We do.
You can listen to all of the old ones and then every new one that comes out. And this is the great one that we just started this year. If you are bothered by the fact that we have advertisements in our regular podcast, I understand, but we do have to make money somehow, and those advertisements pay us a little bit. But if you want to pay to not hear those advertisements, you go to our Patreon episode, you sign up for as little as $5 a month, and we pre-release all of our episodes on Patreon day before, commercial free. So feel free to join up. You can sign up for free. You don't get to hear the episodes until you subscribe, but join us. We have the Shirley Tribe. I'm now calling it a tribe. It's more than a family. We have a collective, right? This is the Shirley Tribe. So go to patreon.com/Shirley Podcast and you can sign up.
Join the tribe.
Join the tribe.
Back to what we were talking about, how Felder, the other guys would write musically a bed for Henley and Fry to write lyrics for.
Yes.
So that happened on this song. So Felder, as you said, created 17, 18, 19 songs.
Who knows?
And Henley goes, nope, crap, except for 2.
Yeah.
One turns into Victim of Love, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Yes.
And one turns into Hotel California.
Welcome to the Hotel California. Such a lovely place, such a lovely place, such a lovely face. Plenty of room at the Hotel California.
It came time to record, and Henley's like, okay, let's do this. And Felder starts playing it, and Henley's like, no. You're not doing it right. And he's like, oh, really? I thought I was. So he starts to play it again. He's like, no, like the demo. And he's like, God, it's been like a year since I sent that to you. He didn't remember. So he was just kind of fiddling around.
Oh.
So Henley's like, you have to figure out how you did it on the demo because that's the way it's going on the record.
Right.
So they were in Miami recording at Criterion.
Right.
he had to call his housekeeper back in Malibu and tell her to put the tape in, turn it way up, and he had the telephone. He had to listen to himself
That's great.
playing this to figure it out.
Now, so you've pointed out something interesting. They're recording in Miami.
Right.
They're recording Hotel California in Miami. Now, they did do some recording in California.
They were back and forth.
But do you know why?
Well, it's because their producer, Bill Szymczak, had this weird fear of earthquakes.
I don't think it's weird. He was in an earthquake as a young person and was like, I am going to do that again.
He was like, I'm out, guys. I'm in Florida. So Szymczak insisted on recording in Miami. And he even said it was good to get the guys out of L.A., get them away from the crowd, get them away from the partying. And I told you, I'm like,
yeah, I mean, who's partying in Miami?
I'm
There's
like,
no drugs in Miami.
if going to Miami is the better option, L.A. was crazy in the 70s.
You could check out, but you can never leave.
One more thing I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
Back to you can stab it with your steely knives, but you just can't kill the beast.
Yep.
That is a direct reference to Steely Dan. You know this?
Oh, Steely. Okay. Yeah. No, Steely Knives. Okay. I got you. Yeah.
Right? Okay. So Steely Dan, Walter Becker is a member of Steely Dan. His girlfriend was a big fan of the Eagles. And to drive him crazy, she used to crank the Eagles. Okay. So
Come on, man. I've had a long night and I hate
That's
the
right.
fucking Eagles.
So in their song, Everything You Did, there's a line that says, turn up the Eagles, the neighbors are listening. Is it a shout out or is it a diss
It's
to
a
the
diss.
Eagles?
You're making radio popcorn diss by the Steely Dan snoots.
So anyway, to reciprocate, they have the Steely Knives.
I gotcha.
I hate to leave this one. This is truly one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah. And I can't say that there's another song on here that's better than this song. But this song is so ubiquitous. It's so just like everybody knows this song that I'm going to say there's another song on here. I want you to pick the other song. If we've got to take Hotel California off of the list,
Oh, okay.
what is going to be this is the best song on the album?
That's
Spike
cool.
the Football song. Okay?
I like it. I
All
like
right,
it. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, D, I've got one more Hotel California story that I want to tell you.
Okay.
It has to do with Glenn Frey, Don Henley, and Don Felder, but it happens in 1994. So I'm going to save that one in case we want to talk about it on a Hell Freezes Over episode.
So you're being very subtle about this, but I said to this, and you know, you guys are listening. You tell us whether this is a good idea or not. I said we should probably not talk about the reunion because I think we need a third episode. We've done Greatest Hits. We're doing Hotel California. We need to do Hell Freezes Over. And then I said we probably should compare it to another great American band who released another great American band from the 70s who released an album in 1994. How about Aerosmith, Big Ones?
It's a great one, man.
Okay.
It's a great one.
So let it be written, so let it be done.
See you this time next year. Yeah. All right. Are we done with Hotel California?
We could go on for years just on this song, but we got to do the whole album in less than an hour.
All right. Next song on the album is called New Kid in Town.
There's talk on the street, it sounds so familiar.
Johnny come lately.
Every freaking lyric on this album is poetry. They will never forget you until somebody new comes along.
That's it.
Like, this goes to the heart of this song, which is this, they're at the height of their fame. I mean, Greatest Hits is out.
Right.
They know what's happening. Like, it's like ding, 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 ding. And what's going to happen when a new kid comes along? They
Right.
know you can't last forever. They thought this band might last a couple years.
The Eagles only recorded together for 9 years before their...
Right. Well, that's nearly twice as long as the Beatles. So that's pretty impressive.
It's insane, right?
Crazy.
So this was the first single, released December 7th, 1976. It did reach number 1 on February 26, 1977. I got to read these to you real quick. This is the top 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Top 5, February 26, 1977.
That's right.
Okay.
I Like Dreamin' by Kenny Nolan. I got nothing.
No.
Number 4, Fly Like an Eagle, Steve Miller Band.
Heck of a song. Love it.
Okay.
Yep.
Number 3, Blinded by the Light, Manfred Mann.
Manfred Mann. Yeah. That's
Written
it.
by
Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yeah. Talk about a better cover than the original.
That's right. Number 2, Evergreen by Barbra Streisand.
Yeah, okay.
My mom liked that song. Okay. And then number 1, New Kid in Town.
Love it.
I just wanted to point something out that's sort of obvious and sort of not obvious. This is the only song on the album that Glenn Frey sings lead on.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to talk about the song that was promised to Don Felder a little bit later and get into why this is the only song that Glenn Frey sings in this album. But yeah.
We can point out the obvious and say when you have Don Henley on your team, he kind of needs to be center mic.
Yeah.
But to relegate Glenn Frey, I mean, he has the same number of songs that Randy Meisner has on this album and that Joe Walsh has on this album.
One more than Don Felder.
We'll talk about that, right? This won the Grammy for Best Vocal Arrangement for 2 or more voices. We told a story on our Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 1 episode that we did last summer.
Yep.
Glenn Frey got his start in Detroit, and he was hanging around with this guy called Bob Seger.
Yep.
Don't know if you ever heard of him.
I did. I have heard of him.
And Bob Seger took an interest in Glenn Frey, took him under his wing, wanted him to join the band, Bob Seger's band.
Mm-hmm.
Glenn Frey's mom told him he could not do that. You know why? Caught him smoking pot with Bob Seger, and she's like, nope, not my son.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, he moves out to L.A., and he meets this guy named J.D. Souther.
Yep.
J.D. Souther wrote some of the songs on Greatest Hits Volume 1. He even has the Golden Wiener Award we talked about for Peaceful Easy Feeling, because at the Der Wiener Schnitzel in San Diego, he wrote that song in that booth.
Oh, that's right. That's
And
right. The Golden Wiener
They
Award.
awarded him the Golden Wiener. Go back and listen to that episode. That was a great fun. But this song was originally written by J.D. Souther, but he couldn't finish it.
Right.
J.D. Souther was this great starter, but couldn't finish.
Right.
So he brought it to Don and Glenn. About a year later, they wrapped it up. By the way, J.D. Souther helped write Best of My Love and Heartache Tonight as well.
Yeah.
One more thing about this song. Glenn Frey had made friends with this guy named Gene Carr, who played hockey for the LA Kings.
Oh, right. Yeah,
This is before Wayne Gretzky. Okay. So the
Right.
Kings were like,
who?
nothing, right? I
Right.
mean, you had the Lakers, and then Kings, we play hockey in LA. Okay. But he was this guy that they brought in. They had big expectations for him. And supposedly he was the inspiration for New Kid in Town.
Supposedly, according to him.
Well, he did say that.
And
But
I mean, he was friends with Glenn Frey.
he was friends with Glenn Frey, and Glenn Frey would wear his jersey in concert.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I don't know.
Hopeless romantics, here we go again. But after a while, you're looking the other way. It's those restless hearts that never mend.
Okay, so one of the things I love about this song is the different transitions that they use from verse to chorus, right? So the first time as you're listening to and it goes into the chorus, it's nothing. It's just like just a smooth, the guitar just keeps playing, it's strumming, no big deal. Second time we get to the chorus, you hear Don Henley, even though Glenn Frey's singing,
Yes.
he goes, does his little Don Henley sprinkle of magic on there, right?
Yeah.
And then the next time we get to the chorus, now I'm pretty sure on this one, that Joe Walsh is actually playing the keyboards on this one. If I might be mistaken, but if it's not Joe Walsh, it's got to be Don Felder who does this awesome. It like moves into this dark,
Yeah.
And then the end, I love the end. Everybody's talking. I don't want to hear it. Everybody's talking. I don't want to hear it. Well, ooh, which is to me is like a little kid going, la, 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 la,
Yeah.
la. I'm not doing that. Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Brilliant. Amazing song.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a new kid in town. Just another new kid in town.
Okay, so I know that Joe Walsh had a significant substance abuse issue.
That's putting it mildly.
I also know that Don Felder, who is probably the more straight-laced of all of the guys in the band, starts off his book with, I walk onto stage for the Hotel California tour, white powder still on my nostrils. And I play that opening chord riff for Hotel California, and I can see the crowd go wild because they think we're going to close with it and we're opening with it. So he's doing some cocaine.
Yes.
Were they all doing cocaine at this time?
Yeah, in fact, Geezer Butler, who was in Black Sabbath, said when they went to record in the same studio, they had enough cocaine on the mixing board to have a party.
On the mixing board.
On the mixing board.
Not even in with the instruments where you need it.
It's like, what are we doing here? Just shake it all onto the table.
So they must have had some pretty close friends that were drug dealers, I'm guessing.
Absolutely. So Glenn Frey had this buddy of his named the Count.
The Count.
And you know why they called him the Count?
Because he counted the money?
Because he did a poor job of counting. So they all called him the Count. And he and the Count were in a car, and they were going to a Eagles poker game. And the Count was driving like 90 miles an hour on the freeway. This is back in the 55 mile per hour. You know, I can't drive 55 days.
Right.
Right. And Glenn Frey's like, dude, you're driving like a maniac.
They're loaded up too, right?
Right. Oh, yeah. They're not sober.
The drug dealer is carrying, right? He's riding dirty.
Oh, yeah. And Glenn Frey's like, dude, chill. And this guy's like, whatever, dude. This is life in the fast lane, baby.
That is flippin' awesome.
This song was the third single, reached number 11, did not even crack the top 10.
That's nuts.
Yeah. The opening riff, I told you the other day, I called you and I said, what does Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles and Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses have in common?
Did I get it right?
You
I
did.
forget it?
You did.
Okay, I thought I did. I remembered specifically because we discussed the origin of Sweet Child of Mine when we covered Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Yes.
I remember that it came from a dumb warm-up riff, and all of a sudden that was like, oh, wait, that's the same way that this came up. Joe Walsh had a finger exercise that he did to, like, it's difficult to do. This is a hard freaking song to play. And he's over there practicing, warming up, and Glenn Frey says, wait, what was that? Play that again.
Yes. The
Great job.
It
Excellent
is.
air guitar.
Well, thank you. You know, when you envision it, Glenn Frey says, whoa, what was that? In my envisioning, I think of like cocaine all over his face, like, dude, what is that you just played? That is a song.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the term life in the fast lane in the American lexicon comes from this song.
Really?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
So lines on the mirror and lines on their face as they're recording the song.
Yes, for sure.
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it. Life in the fast lane surely make you lose your mind. Life in the fast lane. Life in the fast lane. Everything all the time.
Okay.
Life in the fast lane, baby.
I love Call the Doctor. I think I'm going to crash. Doctor said he's coming, but you got to pay him cash. What doctor are we talking about here? Would this be Dr. Feelgood?
That is
Excuse me,
Dr.
paging Dr. Feelgood.
Hey, you know, there's some people mentioned in this song. You know, they were good and bad. You know,
He was too tired to make it. She was too tired to fight about it.
you know, it's rumored that this song was inspired by Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks.
I can see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
third and final single off of this album.
3 singles.
3 singles.
What? I know I've heard every song on this album on the radio at least once.
Is this the third best song on the album?
No.
I think there are
I mean,
undiscovered
sure.
treasures.
It could be. They're
I mean,
all fantastic.
They're all fantastic.
Yeah.
But I will say this. If you are an Eagles Greatest Hits Volume 2 guy and that's all you know from Hotel California, you're in for a treat.
Yeah.
All right. Next song on the album is called Wasted Time.
where you stand with your little head down in your hand.
We have a contender for greatest song outside of Hotel California right here.
Okay. So we've moved from life in the fast lane to life in the slow lane. Like if you're listening to that hi-hat at the beginning, that tss, 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 it's so slow. But give me life in the slow lane because I am spiking the football. This is, outside of Hotel California, the best song on the album.
I can't argue with that. It's beautiful. The strings with Henley's voice. And actually, it goes from really slow to sort of really full. Like, it finishes really strong.
The tempo does change a bit in the song, as does the mood of the song. It's this concern when you've reached the end of a relationship of, why did we do all this? Like, why did we go through all of this heartache? Why did we spend all of this time together only for it to be over? And then you have this kind of uplifting end to the song where it's like, well, even if it's over, maybe we learned something. Maybe we became somebody better because of it, right? Maybe it wasn't all just wasted time.
And from worrying about this wasted time, another love has come and gone. Years keep rushing on.
I love it. It's poetic.
Yeah.
In fact, I called you and told you, like, the very last of the song, it changes. And I don't know how to describe it musically. You know better than I do, but it becomes optimistic about the future.
Well, and I looked at the chord progression because I thought as I was listening to it, I'm like, melodically, it's still the same melody. The melody doesn't change. And as he sings, maybe it wasn't all just wasted time. As he sings that line, and it's like, oh, okay, there's hope, right? You have that hope. But it's the same melody, same chord progression. But what changes is what comes after. And the first time it transitions right back into the verse. Second time it transitions into a bridge. And the bridge goes from A flat to C. And it's kind of melancholy even with that. But what they do the last time after they're done with the verse, he goes from still A flat to C, but there's a chord in the middle. He plays a B flat in the middle, which is how you get that dome, 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 that build, that doom, 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 doom. Like, oh, there's hope. It's like the end of the movie, like, hey, I've discovered this. Maybe there's still hope out there. It's that little change, that subtle little change to the chord progression and building up to that C that makes it hopeful.
I love it. I heard Don Henley talking about how initially when he recorded Desperado, they brought in the London Symphony.
Yep.
And he was like, man, I got to get this right. The London Symphony's here. We're paying them a lot of money.
Right.
And I've got to nail these notes. And he looked around and he realized these guys are bored out of their minds. He said he's stressed and like trying to not, save money and save time and get these people where they need to be. And he noticed that two guys who are like trumpet players or whatever, they had a chessboard between them. And they would between takes, they would move the chess piece.
That's awesome.
So, and I can kind of see it on this one. Now, I asked you if you knew who Lori Redkin was.
I do not know.
Okay. Lori Redkin was Don Henley's girlfriend that he was going through a breakup with. Mm-hmm. And listen to this girl. So as I looked into her, I'm like, this is a top shelf woman right here, okay? This is the girl that when you breaking up with her, you're like, please don't leave me, right? So she has made jewelry for Elizabeth Taylor and Michelle Obama.
Okay.
That she actually wore in the inauguration, okay? So this is
wow.
like not nobody.
Right.
She designed homes for Alice Cooper, Rod Stewart, and Bernie Taupin, who she also dated. And she managed Brad Pitt, got him the part in Thelma and Louise, managed Robert Downey Jr. during his drugging days.
Wow.
And Alexander Goodenough during his Die Hard days.
Wow.
She also dated Richard Gere, and she inspired the lyrics, "Her mind is Tiffany twisted," and she got the Mercedes-Benz.
So she's a slacker What the heck? What a resume.
I'm telling you, man.
Wow. Like, talk about somebody who could keep up with Don Henley and his need for perfection. Like, there's a go-getter right there.
That's right.
My gosh.
That's right. I've got another funny Don Henley dating story.
Okay.
You want to drop it right here?
Yeah.
So Don Henley was at a party in the Hollywood Hills, 88, 89, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And Michelle Pfeiffer is there, and Don Henley's thinking, I'm going to shoot my shot.
Okay.
I'm going to take my shot with Michelle
Don
Pfeiffer.
Henley, right?
I'm Don freaking Henley.
Yeah.
That's Michelle Pfeiffer. And apparently she had just gone through a breakup. So she was a little down. She was a little discouraged.
Mm-hmm.
And Jack Nicholson is also in the room, right?
Uh-huh.
So Don Henley goes up to Michelle Pfeiffer, tries to kind of comfort her in sort of a, hey, do you want to go out with me kind of way?
Uh-huh.
And she totally not interested. Get away from me, you creep. Like
I
get out of
hate
here.
Eagles, man.
So, and she gets up and leaves, and he is totally like embarrassed, humiliated at this party. And he's sitting there, and Jack Nicholson goes, nice try, Henley. And that story inspired the Don Henley song, Last Worthless Evening.
This is the last worthless evening that you have to spend.
So the guy who arranged the strings for this album is a guy named Jim Ed Norman. We talked about him back when we did our Greatest Hits album.
Yes.
He, of course, also arranged the strings for the next song that we're about to listen to.
Right.
And the next year, 1978, he arranged the strings for Glenn Frey's good friend Bob Seger in We've Got Tonight. Another great string arrangement.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Hit stop on your tape player, kick it out, flip it over for side 2. And we start off side 2 with Wasted Time Reprise. Kind of an odd place for the reprise, don't you think?
So I know what the reasoning is behind this. Don Henley talked about how this was a concept album.
Okay.
And so because it's a concept album, he wanted to not, you don't want the division. And so he wanted to tie side 1 and side 2 together. So that's why you have the end of side 1 marrying up with the beginning of side 2 in this reprise, which is fan-frickin-tastic.
I mean, it's awesome.
I mean, it totally reminds me stylistically of Eleanor Rigby by the Beatles. Just this beautiful little, it's such a good, and it demonstrates that this song is it's like Broadway musical worthy instrumentation, arrangement, all of this stuff.
These
Beautiful.
guys are no longer just country rock guys.
No, Bernie's gone.
See ya, Bernie.
See you, Bernie. Take your banjo with you. Just kidding. I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I do too. I do have one more story from Wasted Time.
Yeah.
So Black Sabbath would use the same studio as the Eagles in Miami at Criterion when they would go to LA to party, whatever. Right. And we talked about how there was cocaine all over the mixer.
Right.
But when they were together at the same time in Criterion, Black Sabbath was in the studio next to the Eagles, and they were working really hard on Wasted Time, which of course is a soft song. And Black Sabbath was playing so loud that it interfered with the recording of Wasted Time.
When you build a recording studio, you build it so that you don't hear stuff between the walls. Black Sabbath said, "Hold my beer."
Okay, next song on the album?
Yep.
Next song on the album is called Victim of Love.
What kind of love have you got?
Around about 1962, a young 15-year-old Don Felder gets off the bus at the bus station and is met by this guy with crazy curly hair and a really cool car that says, "Hey, you Don?"
Yeah?
And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "My name's Bernie. Bernie Leadon." Shakes hands, and he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "I just came from your house. Your mom said that you're getting dropped off by the bus over here. You want to ride home?" And he's like, yeah, because kids didn't know any better than not getting in a car with strangers back then.
Right.
And they looked pretty close to the same age. So I figured, okay, all right, it's going to be all right. So what Bernie had done, Bernie had just moved to Gainesville, Florida. He went to the local guitar store that was the best guitar store in town and said, who's the best guitarist in town? And what they told him was Don Felder.
Don Fingers Felder. That's right.
Now, what happened after that was that they formed a band together, and then Bernie got tired of trying to make it in Gainesville and said, we got to get out of here. We got to either go to New York or we got to go to California. And Don Felder, who had already had trouble with his love life, I'll tell that story in a minute. Also with his parents, I was like, geez, man, I just can't leave everything at this point. So Bernie leaves and Don's left alone. Okay. Until eventually he comes out to California, works as a session musician a little bit.
Okay.
And Bernie, when Glenn Frey says, listen, we keep playing these country songs and you're the country guitarist, but when you sing these country songs, I'm the one that has to play the lead guitar. That doesn't make any sense. We need another guitarist. We need to have 3 guitars. And Bernie says, well, I know a guy, and brings Don Felder into the band. Throughout this story, the through line is great guitarist, maybe not the best singer.
Victim of love, I see a broken heart. I could be wrong, but I'm not. No, I'm not.
So along with that, this is one of the songs that Don Felder created the bed of musical pillows for Don Henley to lay the lyrics on. When J.D. Souther, Glenn Frey, and Don Henley got together to write lyrics on Don Felder's musical idea, they talked about how, what are we going to write about? And J.D. Souther made the comment, he said, breaking up with somebody is sort of like being a victim of a car crash. And they were like, I really like that term victim. And so that's where they came up with Victim of Love.
Yeah.
So they wrote the lyrics to Don Felder's song. Now, because Don Felder had brought this song to the guys, he was under the impression that he was going to sing lead vocal on this song.
Yeah. His idea was I had been promised to finally get to sing a song on one of these albums. Now, keep in mind, he joined the band after they were already a success.
That's right.
They had already had plenty of success with the 4 original guys, Randy, Bernie, Don, and Glenn. And so he comes in and he thinks he's just going to play as a session musician. So Glenn calls him and says, hey man, do you want to join the band? And I mean, duh, of course,
yes.
Right? But he wants to sing, and he's fine as a backup harmony singer. But they keep saying, no, we got a couple of guys who can sing pretty good.
Gosh.
And they're not, and even the third guy is a better singer than you. Randy's a really good singer.
I mean, Don, Glenn, Randy, and Joe can sing.
Joe has a weird voice, but
he does.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, Glenn was like, well, our harmonies won't be quite as good, but man, are we going to rock.
That's it. That's right.
So he gets the idea that he's going to be singing a song on this album, which Joe had one.
Randy had one.
Glenn had one.
Glenn had one.
Don had the rest. But there's a reason. It's Don freaking Henley. And this goes back to what you were saying about Glenn only having one song on this album. Even Glenn realized, hey, I don't need to sing the songs because we have Don Henley.
We have Don Henley. That's right. So Felder was intent on singing Victim of Love.
Yep.
And tried and
like a dozen times.
Took a lot of shots at it. And then when he had his back turned.
Well, Irving Azoff is like, it was my job to take him to lunch or dinner and go, this is not really going to work out. And literally while he was being broken up with in a way, while he was having his heart broken, they're going to go ahead. They're in the studio with Don singing the lead to the song. And you know what? They made the right choice.
They made the right choice, but isn't the right choice to always let Don sing? We talked about in Private Eyes with Hall & Oates, like Daryl Hall should sing every song.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's my take on this.
Yeah.
So in one hand, I'm like, I could listen to Don Henley sing The Phone Book, and I just think his voice is just so amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
And so on one hand, I do see that argument that Don should sing everything. And if you want to give Glenn's a great singer.
Well, the thing is that Glenn started singing. Like Glenn's been singing with them since the beginning. And so has Randy. And Joe has had a successful career where he sang.
That's it.
Like they all have a track record of success. Randy's first song that he sang is their first number one hit.
Take It to the Limit is one of the greatest Eagles songs.
Absolutely.
And that's a Randy Meisner song through and through.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that here in just a second, too.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. But I just think taking him out to lunch and recording the vocals while he's, distracted is not cool at all. And these guys are far from cool in a lot of respects.
It's not about being cool to them.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And so I understand why Felder was upset.
Yeah.
But even he was like, I understand because we had Henley.
Right.
My voice was not going to stand up to that kind of scrutiny.
But his thought was nobody's voice does. Like
Well,
you're saying, nobody's voice.
Andy,
Glenn,
that's fair.
Randy, but I don't know. Like depending on the type of music, like Pretty Maids All in a Row wouldn't sound right if Don Henley was singing it. You needed that weird sounding voice to sing it.
I will tell you this. When I heard Glenn Frey went on David Letterman and Glenn Frey sang Desperado.
Oh yeah.
Now keep in mind, Glenn Frey, great singer,
Absolutely.
successful solo artist.
Yep.
Number one hits even, or close. Heat Is On, I think hit number 2, whatever.
Yeah.
Listen to somebody else sing Desperado, it doesn't quite work
not
as
right.
well, so.
It doesn't sound like the Eagles. It's not what's best for the Eagles was the answer he got to his complaint. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I still think they're right.
They're right. Of course they're right.
Yeah.
Just not very cool.
If you have Don Felder singing this song, you now have a flawed album. And this album is a flawless album.
That's true. I
This
can't argue
It
with
would
that.
be the scratch on the brand new Mercedes-Benz.
That's fair. And it doesn't make Greatest Hits Volume 2. This song was the B-side, by the way, to New Kid in Town.
Oh, which of course that makes sense that they would get lots of radio play.
Back then, they expected both songs to get radio play. It wasn't like it's a trash song.
Right.
I love this song. I know every word to this song. It may be my least favorite song on the album, though.
Oh, wow.
But I still think it's great.
Absolutely.
That's how good this album is.
Yeah, that's fair.
The worst song on the album makes
still
the
great.
greatest hits.
Absolutely. Ugliest Playboy Play Me. Yeah, it's
That's
okay.
right.
Right. Whatever.
Right. By the way, I just want to throw this out there because we have mentioned this, but July 31st, 1980, Senator Alan Cranston is having a benefit concert that Glenn is intent on the Eagles supporting.
Yeah. And Don. He's a big environmental guy.
That's
and
right.
Don obviously is, we'll get to that in just a minute.
Don Henley.
Don Henley is a big environmental guy. And so,
Yes.
yeah.
And Felder is like, whatever, what are we doing? Who's this guy?
He didn't want to be doing stuff that wasn't making them money. They were doing this for charity. And he was like, I don't understand. I don't see the point. And he's like, I never was political. Still not political. Yeah. But this is the moment. Like, this is the pin. This is the nail in the coffin.
It is.
This is the straw that broke it. But Alan Cranston is saying, thank you.
He's
thank
greeting
you, thank
everybody,
you.
right?
Yeah, he's thanking the band one by one, says to Don Felder, thank you. And Don Felder's like, you're welcome. And then he turns and is continuing his thank yous. And Don Felder goes, I guess.
Yeah.
And Glenn Frey the fuse gets lit and it just gets hotter and hotter. And they're playing the benefit concert that night. Hotter and hotter. He's like, I walked and I was just going for a walk and I just kept getting madder and madder. And then we're on stage and I just kept looking at him like, as soon as this concert is over, like he was salivating to beat his ass.
3 more songs till I kick your ass, pal. and Felder's like, bring it. Let's go, dude. Let's get it on. And I think part of that frustration may come from Victim of Love.
Oh, of course.
So,
of course.
I mean, it's years of disagreements, but
yeah.
there's hard feelings here for sure.
Yeah. And I love that, that Bill Simzik was recording the banter that was going on
It's so
between
good,
them
man.
on stage. This is their last concert, right? And I mean, they didn't know it, but it was.
That's right.
They didn't know that this was it.
Until the Travis Tritt video.
Right. We'll get there.
Okay.
But one of the guys is like, yeah, he was like, I'm gonna kick your ass, and then it cuts to him, and it's not what he says. He says, I'm going to kill you.
I love it. I love it. And then when it finally does end and like, let's get it on. I mean, let's see this fight.
He makes a break for it.
He smashes his guitar
For what?
and jumps in the limo and speeds off.
Yeah. Why? Why smash the guitar? What does that mean? I mean,
Let's go.
are you gonna hit him with it?
Put
if you're
up
gonna
your
hit him with
dukes,
it, don't
man.
smash it first. Smash it over him.
And then
He hightails it into a limo and with his tail between his legs.
And Glenn Fry's parting shot was just like you to smash your cheap guitar. Felder's like, whatever that brand name is.
Oh, Takamine, yeah. So because you said that Glenn had struck a deal with Takamine, which I mean, I own a Takamine 12-string, and I love it. They're great guitars, but they're not expensive guitars. They're cheap guitars,
Right.
comparatively speaking, to something like a Martin or something like that.
And Felder says, I don't play a Martin because of your stupid record deal. So it's a lot of back and forth.
Yeah.
And that was the end of the Eagles at that moment.
For a while.
For a while. Next song on the album?
Let's do it.
Next song on the album is called Pretty Maids All in a Row.
Hi there, how are ya? It's been a long time. Seems like we've come a long way. My, but we learn so slow.
So you tell me that the next song is going to be a Joe Walsh song. I'm shocked as crap that it starts off with this slow piano riff.
It's beautiful.
It's wonderful, but it's just like I'm expecting a guitar riff.
The
I'm
Crazy
expecting
Man,
Life
right?
in the Fast Lane or Rocky Mountain High, something like that. But you get this slow, beautiful piano introduction. And then Joe, he doesn't sound like the rest of the guys, but he's perfect on this song. This is perfect for him somehow. You know what it does? It reminds me of a Randy Newman song. Like, I never thought Randy Newman was that great of a singer, but he just, the character that he has in his voice makes his songs great. Which, by the way, I didn't realize this. The Eagles freaking sang on Little People. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah, Randy Newman's Little People. They were helping him out with they're playing and singing in the background. I had no idea until like an hour ago that was the case.
Wow.
But anyway, sidebar there. This song, I can remember I've listened to this album, in preparation. I've listened to this album many times, but in preparation, I've listened to it 3 or 4 times.
Yes.
All the way through.
Yeah.
Gets to this song every single time. I just kind of stop and I just soak in the beauty of the music of this song. It's wonderful.
It is so good. It is so ridiculously good.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what we were saying. It's not enough to say there are no skippers on this album.
Right.
Every song could be a hit.
Yes.
And they released 3 out of 10 or whatever it is.
Yeah. And I mean, this was a song that they kept on playing when Hell Froze Over 14 years later.
I heard him play this.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, in 2020, Bob Dylan said this could be one of the best songs ever written.
It's great.
And it's not even good enough to be released as a single.
Well, 3 out of all of the songs on this album
I know.
were singles. Like, they're all potentially chart toppers.
Yes. Tell me the Joe Walsh, Jimmy Page story.
Oh, so this would have been,
Am
I can't remember if it's 67?
69.
69?
Yep.
Okay. So 69 was the year that Zeppelin released its first album.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
You ask any guitar player who knows who Led Zeppelin is, what did Jimmy Page play? And he played a bunch of stuff, but you saw him 90% of the time, he is playing a Gibson Les Paul, which, I mean, big deal. That's what a whole bunch of people play. But Jimmy Page is just known for this Gibson Les Paul.
That's right.
Turns out he bought it from Joe Walsh for like $1,200.
$1,200.
But it's $1,269. So,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is now. Hold on, let's check. It's close to $11,000 today. So it wasn't. The James Gang had their hits, and Zeppelin's obviously on the road to becoming big. So it was not nothing.
Joe Walsh sold Jimmy Page his iconic guitar,
It's crazy.
that 1959 Les Paul.
Yep.
All right, I got a couple of Joe Walsh stories for you that I love. Okay.
Yeah.
So, does the name Patrick Laberteau ring a bell with you at all?
No.
Okay. You've seen him. He's a working actor. He was in the TV show Jag. He was in the movie Summer School. And he was on Little House on the Prairie when he was a little kid.
Okay.
Okay. And being that he was a child actor, super famous for being on Little House on the Prairie. Okay. But transitioning from a child actor to an adult actor is sometimes hard
Sure.
And so he had some down years. And while he was trying to stay alive in LA, he was delivering food to pay the bills.
Okay.
And when he showed up at this house, he rang the doorbell and the lady invited him in. He said she had the biggest sex hair you've ever seen and just like barely had any clothes on. Come on in, whatever. So he goes in and he's handing her the pizzas or whatever.
Okay.
And she looks at him and she goes, "Hey, you were on Little House on the Prairie." And he's like, "Oh, God, somebody recognized me,
Yeah, I'm delivering pizzas
I'm
now.
delivering pizzas, and she recognized me from Little House. And she's like, "I love Little House. I used to watch it all the time. What in the world are you delivering pizza for?" Mm-hmm. And he's just embarrassed and humiliated. Yeah. And she's going on and on about this.
Yeah.
And she calls up to her boyfriend. She's like, "Get down here. You're not even going to believe it. The guy from Little House on the Prairie delivered our pizza." And so the boyfriend comes down the stairs and is like, "What are you railing about?" She's like, "This dude was in Little House on the Prairie, and now he's delivering pizzas. Can you believe it?" And Patrick Laborteaux looks up and he says, "That's Joe Walsh." And Joe Walsh looks at him and goes, "You were in Little House on the Prairie?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he goes, "I used to be in the Eagles." Takes the pizza, goes in and eats. And he talked about how that really let him off the hook.
Oh my
so
gosh.
it felt great.
That's wonderful. I just can't I can't not talk about how awesome Joe Walsh is. Like he's obviously this party animal. He's funny and quirky. I mean, you see him wearing a bug mask made out of tinfoil in some of the old interviews and then convulsing and dying on Don Felder's lap. He's just such a crazy dude. But he has this wonderful part at the beginning of the History of the Eagles documentary where he's like talking about this philosopher and he kind of rambles it a bit, but basically it's like as things are happening to you in your life, it's just like you think they're chaotic and unrelated and this happens and that happens, these things happen, and you're just thinking, oh, this is just chaos and madness in my life. And then you reach a certain age and you look back and you think, wow, it's like the perfectly crafted novel. And I was like, man, Joe Walsh is a smart dude. He just hides his intelligence behind all that crazy, wacky behavior that he does.
I got a Joe Walsh story that involves our buddy, our co-friend, Jay Hudson.
Okay.
Who we play poker with over at Matt Mercer's house.
Hey, Jay.
What's up, Jay? So Jay was working at a company, and Jay's like the company accountant. He's like the CFO. He's the bigwig at the company, and he had on his iTunes on shuffle.
Okay.
He went to the bathroom or whatever, and he came back. His assistant was in their office waiting on him. And as his iTunes are shuffling through the songs, as he walks in, he realizes that Joe Walsh's song, "I Like Big Tits," is playing.
Every time I try to call it quits, here comes some tits. That's a big 10 for big tits. What it is. I like big tits.
At like 80 decibels. Well, his assistant is in there asking what to do about this project. So Joe Walsh is an American treasure.
Yeah. And I didn't realize it until you sent me this thing. But if you watch David Letterman on any regular basis, which I did as a young man, at some point he develops this catchphrase, like when he's doing his opening monologue at the beginning, if things are awkward and the joke doesn't go well, or he just doesn't like the joke or whatever, he just kind of adjusts his tie like Rodney Dangerfield. And he's like, you got any gum?
Yeah.
You got any gum? I had no idea that this came from the Joe Walsh story behind his album, Got Any Gum?
That's exactly right.
So tell that story.
So Joe Walsh is talking about how he was working on this album. They didn't have a name for it, but he was walking to the studio and he sees a homeless guy coming. And he's like, oh, crap, I don't want to get bogged down with this. And so as the guy's approaching, he's already reaching in his pocket for change to just kind of throw at him, go away and leave me alone. And he reaches in his pocket, and as he approaches this homeless guy, he pulls out his hand. He's got change in his pocket. And the homeless guy goes, oh, I don't need any money. I just want to see if you had any gum.
You got any gum?
Yeah. Crazy.
That's great.
All right. Next song on the album. This song is called Try and Love Again.
So this song is fantastic.
I love it. I love it.
Wonderful. And I would probably put it at the bottom of the list of the songs in this album. If I
agree.
had to rank them all, it's on the bottom. I'd listen to it every day.
It's fantastic.
It's crazy, right?
It's not Take It to the Limit,
No,
but
it's
still a great song.
It's great, and it's so bittersweet. It's this moment where you realize your relationship is coming to an end, and you're thinking about when it was good. You're remembering when it was good. And maybe that's a love relationship between a man and a woman, or maybe it's between a bass player and his band.
So this is Randy's last album with the Eagles. And one of the problems that he had was every night, it was expected, one of their encore songs was Take It to the Limit. Take It to the Limit has a lot of high notes, and if you are out partying and not taking care of yourself, it can be hard to hit those notes.
All of vodka and a couple of lovely ladies.
And a lot of blow. So they're backstage one night, and he tells the guys, like, they've performed the concert, he's backstage, they're waiting to encore, and he's like, guys, I can't do it tonight. And Glenn Frey's like, dude, there's 50,000 screaming people out there who are expecting you.
It's more that, and Glenn Frey is right. It's more than that. You think, how many times did you watch the Eagles play?
Once.
Me too.
Yeah.
One time.
Yeah.
So for that one moment in my life,
It's true.
I wanted to hear certain songs. And for people in the 70s who were coming to an Eagles concert, for a lot of them, I mean, there were probably people that saw many shows, but for a lot of them, this would be the only show that they ever got to see.
It's true.
A song that has stood the test of time. Doesn't matter if it's a year or two later.
Right.
They came and all they want is to hear that song. And to deny them that because you decided to party too hard the night before is bullcrap.
It is bullcrap.
It's bullcrap. You're not doing your job.
That's true. That's true. I don't necessarily think that Glenn Frey is a pep you up kind of guy. Like he's F you, do your job.
I think he led with come on, these people have spent a lot of money to hear you play that song. And he was just like, and Randy was just like, I just don't want to sing it. You know, he's not the alpha. He's the one guy who was not an alpha in this group.
He was being
don't want to
wimp.
sing it. And after he's trying to stand his ground for the one time, that he's going to do it. And Glenn Frey, after trying to reason with him, just says, well, you then.
Yeah. Why don't you quit?
And like bows up and gets ready to.
They get in a fist fight.
Yeah. And the cops come over and Don Henley, of all people,
stay out of this. This is personal band business.
And it's private.
That's right.
It's really private.
Yeah. And they freaking got it on fisticuffs.
And that's the end.
Yeah. And so that's the last that Randy Meisner's ever in the band. So I think it was like 2016.
Okay.
2016, Randy's kids were trying to become like executors of his estate, and they were trying to get around his wife. They didn't like his wife, felt like her name is Lana. She was manipulating him because...
This is after he's passed.
No.
Okay.
This is right before he passed.
Oh, okay.
And they said he's a severe alcoholic and she's manipulating him and she's going to take him for all he's worth, and we want to take control of his estate.
Okay.
So they didn't win that. A year later, she's moving a gun in their house, like transporting it like from here to there, and bumps into something, and it goes off and it kills her.
Whoa.
Randy Meisner's wife accidentally shoots herself in the head, and the police come and they've got to like determine, did he kill her?
Oh, so he's still alive too.
This is before he passed.
Wow.
And they actually found, like, they looked at like security footage, and they have him like on camera in another part of the house, and were able to verify that this was not his fault. Wow. But they had like put him in the psych unit, and like he was on suicide watch, and so it wasn't all flowers and roses for Randy Meisner after this.
It's tragic.
So, just a little side note: they pulled him out of the band Poco.
Yeah.
When he was in the band Poco, they asked him to join the Eagles. He joins the Eagles. His replacement in Poco was Timothy B. Schmidt.
Correct.
When he leaves the Eagles in 1976, whatever it is, 77, he is replaced by Timothy B. Schmidt.
Well, obviously. Like, it's the perfect choice. And the way that this goes, and I realize we're getting a little past the album we're covering, but Glenn Frey is like, listen, he replaced him in Poco. He can sing the songs that he sang in Poco. He can play the bass lines that he played in Poco. He's the perfect replacement. And Irving Azoff is like, listen, I saw him like a week ago and he was drunk out of his mind and gacking, you know, and I just don't know. You really think he's the right fit? And Glenn Frey said, listen, Irving, if you've been playing music for 11 years and you're still making $250 a week, wouldn't you be drunk out of your gourd and gacking too?
It's fair.
Yeah.
So Timothy B. Schmidt joins the Eagles just in time for them to break up.
Yeah. He was with them for just under 3 years, I think. Yeah.
But he has since rejoined and he plays with them
To this day.
They're playing the Sphere, and we looked at tickets.
Yeah.
$1,000. Jeez.
I didn't even look. I just figured they were about 1,000.
All right, last song on the album. This song is the epic Don Henley masterpiece, The Last Resort.
She came from Providence, one in Rhode Island, where the old world shadows hang heavy in the air. She packed her hopes and dreams like a refugee, just as her father came across the sea.
So I'm going to shout out our longtime listener and my good friend Arlen Bullard on this one. Every time I hear this song and it hits the line, they put up a bunch of ugly boxes and Jesus people bought them. I can remember him saying that line to me and just like, that's funny stuff right there. This is such a well-crafted song. And Don Henley was never satisfied with it. It's a bit abstract, but still creates such concrete images that you don't know what to do with it. But this goes back to the thing I said when we started talking about this whole album. This is really that thin line that we're jumping over between the American dream and the American nightmare, where we take something beautiful and we turn it into something ugly, or we just destroy it outright.
They called it paradise, the place to be. They watched the hazy sun sinking in the sea.
Don Henley became very involved in environmental groups and started
right?
the Walden Woods Project. He's on the Thoreau Institute. That's what he cares about, the environment. Mm-hmm. This was his epic, we need to take care of what we have been given. And if you'll notice in the song, talks about how he came across the sea, Providence, Malibu, and then he mentions Lahaina, which is in Hawaii. Mm-hmm. So you can just see throughout the song, you're moving west.
Yep. Perfect song to end the album too.
Yeah, so beautiful. What else can we say? This is a perfect album.
Indeed. Okay, so there's one more album that comes out after this one. It's called The Long Run. The band was in such a state after they recorded this album that they called it The Long One. Everything comes to a stop in July 1980.
That's right.
And then I can remember as a kid just thinking, I'll never get to see the bands that I love the most in concert, because I loved Led Zeppelin the most, I loved Leonard Skinner the most, and I loved the Eagles the most. And I'll never get to see them in concert. Until the 90s.
That's right.
So join us next season, and we're going to talk about Hell Freezes Over. We'll talk about the new versions of songs, and we'll talk about the new songs, many of which are great songs.
After we've gone through all these songs, how in the world is there another album that can somehow stack up against this?
It beat it in 1977. We just got to see if it's going to beat it again.
Rumors has been called the greatest rock and roll album of all time. We will figure that out next week.
Guess so, yeah. Guys, join us then. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, and join us on Patreon. Love you guys, and we will see you next week. This is freaking... Sorry.
What was...
said frockin'. Like I was trying to not say... Yeah.
Right. Like Battlestar Galactica. Fragging.
Okay.